Remember your first bike from Sears? The place where your family shopped for school clothes and Dad bought his tools? Today, we're opening Sears' doors once again to relive its golden age and uncover what led to its downfall. In 1886, a young Richard Warren Sears was working as a station agent in North Redwood, Minnesota. It was here that he stumbled upon an opportunity that would change his life and American retail forever. A shipment of unwanted gold watches arrived at his station, and rather than letting them go to waste, Sears bought them for $12 each and resold them for $14, pocketing a $2 profit per watch. This small venture sparked Sears' entrepreneurial spirit, and he quickly quit his job to start a mail-order watch business out of Minneapolis. By 1887, Sears had joined forces with Alva C. Roebuck, a skilled watchmaker, and together they formed Sears, Roebuck and Company. Initially focused on watches and jewelry, the business soon expanded its product offerings. But what truly transformed Sears from a small mail-order business into a retail juggernaut was a government policy introduced in 1896, rural free delivery. Before this, Sears's customer base was mostly urban, but with rural free delivery, the company could reach America's remote rural areas, offering farmers and small-town residents access to a wide variety of goods they otherwise couldn't get. The Sears catalog, initially a simple pamphlet, quickly grew into a massive book filled with everything from sewing machines to entire houses. But Sears's success wasn't guaranteed. As America evolved and competition grew, the retail landscape would change dramatically. Would Sears be able to keep up with the shifting tides of American consumerism? Let's find out in the next chapter. By the late 19th century, the Sears catalog had become a revolutionary force in American retail, especially for rural communities. At a time when most Americans lived far from major cities, with the nearest general store sometimes a day's journey away, the Sears catalog brought the world to their doorstep. It was more than just a catalog. It was a window into a world of possibility. Imagine being a farmer's wife in 1900. Your days are filled with hard work, and your shopping options are limited to what's available nearby. Then, one day, a thick, heavy book arrives in the mail. Inside its pages are goods you could only dream of. Sewing machines, bicycles, kitchen gadgets, clothes, and even entire houses. All of it was available to you, just by sending a letter and a money order. For many families, this catalog was a lifeline, offering access to a world of goods that would otherwise have been out of reach. The Sears catalog wasn't just about convenience. It also symbolized aspiration. It gave people the ability to dream, to plan, and to build a better life for themselves. Kids would circle toys, adults would compare tools, and families would mark pages with household items they needed. It was, in many ways, the Amazon of its time, delivering not just products, but the promise of a better, more connected life. But as Sears grew, so did the challenges. Could they continue to dominate as America changed? Let's explore that next. Between 1908 and 1940, Sears introduced one of its most ambitious products, kit homes. Yes, you could order an entire house from the Sears catalog. These homes were delivered as pre-cut materials with detailed instructions, allowing buyers to build their own homes at a fraction of the cost of traditional construction. Sears sold over 70,000 of these kit homes across the U.S., from small cottages to grander designs. Imagine flipping through the Sears catalog, not just dreaming of new furniture or a bicycle, but your entire house. For many, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a home during an era when housing was often unaffordable. Everything from the framing to the nails was shipped right to your property, ready for assembly. It was a revolutionary concept, making homeownership more accessible than ever before. These kit homes weren't just functional, they were stylish and customizable, with many still standing today as a testament to their durability. Can you imagine ordering your entire home from a catalog? But Sears didn't stop there. The company's expansion went far beyond mail order as they ventured into brick-and-mortar retail stores. Let's see how that leap changed the game for Sears. On February 2, 1925, Sears made a bold leap into the world of physical retail by opening its first store on Chicago's West Side. This move marked a major shift in the company's business model, transitioning from a mail-order giant to a brick-and-mortar powerhouse. As more Americans moved into urban areas and cars became more common, Sears seized the opportunity to offer an in-person shopping experience, combining the convenience of the catalog with the immediate gratification of retail. The first Sears store wasn't just about selling products. It was about creating a shopping destination. Customers could walk through aisles filled with everything from clothing to tools to home appliances. The vast selection gave them a chance to touch, see, and experience the products before making a purchase, something the catalog couldn't provide. Opening this first retail store was a gamble, but it paid off in a big way. It laid the foundation for hundreds more Sears stores to open across the country, bringing the same vast selection from the catalog into the hands of urban shoppers. Do you remember shopping in a Sears store for the first time? For many, stepping into a Sears store felt like entering a world of endless possibilities. I remember sitting with my siblings, flipping through the Sears catalog, circling toys we dreamed of owning. When we finally walked into a Sears store, it was like stepping into that catalog in real life. It wasn't just a store, it was a part of our lives. The 1950s to the 1970s marked the golden age of Sears, a time when its stores were a hub of Main Street USA and a cornerstone of American life. Sears wasn't just a store, it was the go-to destination for families across the country. Whether you needed a new appliance, tools, or back-to-school clothes, Sears had it all. Shoppers would stroll down the aisles, greeted by the scent of fresh popcorn from the candy counter, and the store bustled with excitement. During this period, Sears also became synonymous with iconic brands that found a place in millions of American homes. Craftsman tools were a rite of passage for many, with fathers passing down their trusty toolboxes to their sons. Kenmore appliances became an essential part of American households, with washers and refrigerators that stood the test of time. And who could forget die-hard batteries, known for their unmatched reliability, especially during the coldest winters? Did your family own any of these brands? Many families grew up trusting Craftsman, Kenmore, and Die Hard. As these products became more than just household names, they became part of everyday life. But while Sears was busy building retail empires and dominating the market, new competitors were quietly rising. Walmart and Kmart emerged in the retail landscape, offering something new: lower prices and a streamlined shopping experience. The question was, could Sears keep up with the changing times? Let's explore how the competition began to shift the tide. By the 1970s, Sears found itself in an increasingly competitive retail environment. The rise of Walmart and Kmart brought a new approach to retail: discount stores that offered lower prices and a more convenient shopping experience. These competitors focused on efficiency and cutting costs, making their products more affordable and appealing to a new breed of shoppers who were less interested in traditional department stores and more interested in bargains. While Walmart and Kmart aggressively expanded their footprint across the country, Sears, long the dominant force in American retail, seemed caught off guard. Instead of adapting quickly to the changing market, Sears clung to its tried-and-true methods: its sprawling department stores, large catalogs, and premium brand names like Craftsman and Kenmore. However, shoppers were beginning to care more about price and convenience than brand loyalty or tradition. As shopping habits shifted, Sears found itself on the wrong side of the retail revolution. The rise of discount chains exposed Sears' weaknesses: high operating costs, an outdated business model, and an inability to respond quickly to market trends. Instead of rethinking their strategy, Sears largely stayed the course, assuming their brand power would carry them through. But it was becoming clear that the world of retail was changing, and Sears was not changing with it. The once dominant retailer was starting to show signs of strain as Walmart and Kmart continued their rapid ascent, leaving consumers and investors to wonder, could Sears keep up? In 2005, Sears made what many considered its last big move to save itself: a merger with Kmart, another retail giant that had also fallen on hard times. The idea was to combine the strengths of both companies, creating a retail powerhouse that could rival Walmart and Target. On paper, the merger seemed like a smart plan. After all, both Sears and Kmart had large store networks and well-known brand names. But the reality of this $11 billion merger would tell a much different story. At the helm of the newly formed Sears Holdings was Edward Lampert, a hedge fund manager with little experience in retail, but a reputation for being a financial wizard. Lampert's approach to running the company was to focus heavily on cost-cutting. Rather than investing in store renovations or improving the shopping experience, he began selling off valuable assets, like Sears real estate and beloved brands such as Craftsman tools and Die Hard batteries. Lampert believed that by cutting costs and selling off pieces of the company, he could generate enough capital to keep the business afloat. Unfortunately, this strategy only served to alienate customers and weaken the core of the business. Sears and Kmart stores became known for being run down and understocked, with poor customer service and empty shelves. What was once a shopping destination for millions had become a shadow of its former self. By 2010, Sears was hemorrhaging money, and the company's decline was accelerating. Even loyal customers who had grown up with Sears were finding it hard to shop there, as the stores no longer offered the experience they remembered. The merger with Kmart, once seen as a possible lifeline, ended up being the anchor that dragged both companies down. But the final blow for Sears didn't come from the Kmart merger. It happened more than a decade earlier, in 1993, when Sears made the fatal mistake of discontinuing its iconic catalog, a decision that would ultimately doom the company in the age of e-commerce. Little did they know, another retail giant, Amazon, was already rising, ready to take Sears' place. In 1993, Sears made a decision that many believe sealed its fate. It discontinued its iconic catalog. For over a century, the Sears catalog had been the heart and soul of the company, connecting the retailer to millions of Americans in rural areas. The catalog was more than just a shopping tool. It was a cultural phenomenon, a way for families to dream, plan, and shop for the future. From clothing to appliances and even kit homes, the catalog offered everything, making it a one-stop shop for customers who couldn't easily access a physical Sears store. But in the early 90s, Sears was struggling to keep up with the competition from Walmart and Kmart, who were dominating the discount retail market. The catalog, which had once been a symbol of innovation, was now viewed as a costly relic of the past. The decision was made to phase it out, a move that many viewed as Sears letting go of its most valuable asset. What makes this decision particularly shocking is the timing. 1993 was on the cusp of the e-commerce boom. The internet was starting to gain traction, and the way people shopped was beginning to change. By ending its catalog, Sears essentially handed the future of online shopping to competitors on a silver platter. Amazon, founded in 1994, would go on to revolutionize e-commerce using a model very similar to the one that Sears had pioneered with its catalog, delivering a vast array of products to customers' doorsteps. Imagine if Sears had embraced the internet instead of retreating from its catalog business. They had the infrastructure, the brand loyalty, and the customer base to become a leader in e-commerce. Instead, they watched from the sidelines as Amazon became the behemoth that Sears could have been. With the catalog gone and their stores increasingly struggling, Sears found itself unable to compete in a rapidly changing retail landscape. It was a turning point from which they would never fully recover. As the 2010s rolled in, Sears was no longer the bustling retail giant it once was. Store closures became a familiar headline, with locations shutting down across the country. The shelves that had once been filled with Craftsman tools, Kenmore appliances, and countless products were now sparsely stocked, leaving shoppers with a hollow experience. As Sears slowly began selling off these beloved brands, it felt like watching a slow-motion disintegration of an American icon. For many, Sears wasn't just another store. It was a part of life. It was where you bought your first bike, where your family shopped for back-to-school clothes, and where your parents got their home appliances. The store was woven into the fabric of American memories, so when the news broke that more Sears locations were closing, it wasn't just the loss of a retail space. It was deeply personal. Walking through the aisles of a near-empty Sears, many people couldn't help but feel a sense of nostalgia and sadness. The once vibrant displays were gone, replaced by clearance signs and empty shelves. The smell of fresh popcorn from the candy counter, the sight of wide-eyed kids circling toys in the Christmas wish book. These experiences now lived only in memory. I can still remember the last time I walked into a Sears. It was a far cry from the store I had grown up with. There was a somberness to the space, an almost tangible sense of loss. It wasn't just a store that was closing, it was the end of a retail experience that had been part of American life for over a century. Do you remember the last time you shopped at Sears? How did it feel to see those empty aisles, knowing the brand you once relied on was slipping away? As Sears continued to shutter stores and sell off what was left of its identity, the emotional weight grew heavier. It wasn't just the closing of doors, it was the end of an era, a piece of American history disappearing before our eyes. In October 2018, Sears, once the pinnacle of American retail, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It was the final nail in the coffin for a company that had been a part of American life for over a century. What made this moment even more significant was that Sears had survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and countless other economic challenges. Yet, in the end, it couldn't survive the new age of retail, a time dominated by online shopping and a rapidly changing retail landscape. The bankruptcy filing marked the end of an era. Sears had once been synonymous with innovation. It was the first to master the mail-order business, revolutionizing shopping for rural Americans. It built iconic brands like Craftsman, Kenmore, and Die Hard, which became household names. Sears had a special place in the hearts of millions, not just as a store, but as a cultural institution. Yet by the 2010s, the company that had once dominated retail was now a shell of its former self. For many of us, Sears was more than just a place to shop. It was part of our lives. I remember walking through the aisles as a child, hand in hand with my parents, marveling at the toy displays, circling items in the Christmas wish book, and dreaming of the possibilities. The smell of fresh popcorn from the candy counter mixed with the scent of new shoes from the leather department, creating a sensory memory that sticks with me to this day. It was a store that had everything, and for a time, it felt like it would be around forever. But as the years went by, the cracks started to show. Competition from Walmart, Target, and most notably Amazon began to eat away at Sears' market share. The company's failure to innovate and adapt to the changing retail environment was becoming increasingly evident. Where once Sears had been a trailblazer, now it was struggling to stay afloat. By the time Edward Lampert took over as CEO, it was clear that Sears was in dire straits. Instead of focusing on revitalizing the brand, Lampert made cost-cutting his priority, selling off valuable real estate and iconic brands in a desperate attempt to keep the company solvent. These decisions, while financially motivated, gutted the heart of what made Sears special. The bankruptcy of Sears felt like more than just the closing of a business. It was the end of an institution that had been woven into the fabric of American life for generations. It was where families shopped for their first home appliances, where kids got their first bikes, and where parents found everything they needed for back-to-school shopping. Sears was more than a store. It was where life happened. For those who had grown up with Sears, the bankruptcy was an emotional blow. It wasn't just a business failure. It was the loss of a piece of American history, a symbol of the American dream that had come crashing down. The company that once empowered people to buy homes from a catalog and turned dreams into reality was now just another chapter in the history books. As we reflect on the fall of Sears, we're reminded that no institution, no matter how big or beloved, is immune to the passage of time. Sears may be gone, but the memories it created will live on in the hearts of the millions of Americans who grew up shopping in its aisles. For many, it will always be more than just a store. It was part of our lives. Sears may have closed its doors, but the memories we made there, the lessons we learned, and the communities it built remain. So, while the store may be gone, its spirit continues in every tool we pass down and every moment we relive. If you enjoyed this nostalgic journey, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single story from retail history.